It's the massive rain front tormenting the east coast. More than 30,000 residents in the firing line. Floods that were meant to be one in 100 years are now devastating weary communities for the fourth time in a year.
When a month's worth of rain falls in a matter of days, it has to go somewhere.
This is our fourth flood in a few months, so it's fairly dramatic.
They've had plenty of practice, but no two disasters are ever the same or ever get easier.
We go 3 steps forward, think we're winning, and then we get smashed and we've got to take 10 steps back. It just seems like it's just a waste of time.
Residents in Sydney's northwest have barely had time to dry out. Forget a 1 in 100 year flood. Out here, they're rewriting history.
It's just unbelievable. It's not normal. It really isn't normal for this weather to be like this.
How bad is your house again?
It's 4 foot of water in the windows, in the floor. It's probably under the windows now. I have nothing.
We first met Diane in March last year. She didn't just have water views, her home was completely under. This time, Di got out quickly.
I haven't basically decked the house back out from last time. I haven't renovated. I haven't even got doors on the house. I've got curtains hanging on the doors for my doors. I just got the plumber in. I still haven't paid me Sparky. Sorry, Cole.
A driveway of sorts under here.
This will be the third time in less than 18 months Dave will have to clean up his home.
What do you do now? What do you do?
Don't know. Wait till all goes down and see what's left again.
Like so many here, everything inside was brand new.
The old romantic notion of rain on the tin roof doesn't have the same effect anymore, that's for sure. So, yeah, it's
more of a warning these days, isn't it?
It is. It's quite funny actually. If you're asleep at night and you hear a bump, you immediately get the thought of something bumping into a boat, like you're in the water. You get that thought process going on.
Dave builds race cars for a living. His workshop has once again been ruined.
Tomorrow it may get up to about here. Tomorrow, the killer day.
His bed and house appliances are still tucked away in rafters.
We've got to stop moving like this.
The only thing more unbelievable than the weather is their spirit.
Can you believe this?
I can't believe it at all. No, I'm in shock. I'm absolutely in shock, yeah. Very much in shock, and I'm so sorry for Di. Oh, we can't do any more for her, God love her. Oh, gee, my luck's changed today. Oh, yeah. Oh, so sorry.
Dawn's a born and bred Riverston girl and has watched floods wreak havoc on her family home time and time again.
With the rain still falling like this, you really get the sense that people here have had enough. With a flood, it is so much about the recovery and the chance to rebuild. But for people here, getting life back to normal right now seems almost impossible.
Brian was on his way to the doctor but ended up with a different emergency.
Started coming on the road and all of a sudden it just got deeper and deeper and the car stopped and started to flood.
What do you think, when that water's coming up? What's going through your head?
It's fairly traumatic, and also my car's fully automatic, so you can't, I couldn't even open the sunroof. And I didn't want to open the door because I thought that would probably flood too. Yeah, but you don't have to drop me home, you can drop me in Richmond, I can walk.
Whether it's lives or livestock, everything's at risk.
So we had no idea if they were dead or alive this morning.
Bill has lived with floods his entire life. But even for Bill, sometimes it gets too much.
What do you think the solution is?
Well, what's going to happen in the future, they're building houses around this area in flood areas. And there's going to be more people flooded there. And if they don't do anything about Warragamba Dam, well, it's going to get worse. And
what needs to be done with it?
Well, they were for the last, 15 or 20 years, been talking about raising it, but they hold too much water back.
The bad weather will move on, but the water won't anytime soon.
Just soldier on, that's all they can do. Just soldier on, that's all they can do. And just hope there's no more floods, you know. It's got to get better, it can't get much worse, can it?
For people who love where they live.
Like I say, I've had enough Dimity, I'm out. I said this before, I've got to get out, I've got no choice now. I can't live there now.
When the floodwaters finally recede, the mammoth clean-up begins, and this community will need an army of volunteers to rebuild. Organisations like Disaster Relief Australia were cleaning up mountains of debris in Sydney's northwest just last week, only for the same area to flood all over again. Andy Young from Disaster Relief Australia joins me now. Andy, good evening to you and thanks for your time. It is of the
Pleasure.
essence, of course. Your job begins when the rain ends, in the aftermath. So what are you expecting to find when the floodwaters recede?
It's really hard to say after these communities have endured a number of these flood events over the last couple of months. A lot of the homeowners have taken their belongings out. They may have survived the previous flood event. They may not have got the opportunity to get them out. So either they got them out last time and now they've been destroyed, or they may have rebuilt or repaired and they've been destroyed again. So really is horrifying to see what they're going through over again.
Well, it's just carnage on top of carnage, isn't it? You were there cleaning up in Pitt Town just a few days ago. 36 hours later, it's underwater again. Give us a sense of the kind of work you were doing there earlier this week in that cleanup.
Well, we were actually responding to the flood event that occurred back in February and March. So that was quite a while ago. It was a clean-up project that we wanted to remove a lot of this plastic pollution that had been caught up in this creek system, a real significant creek system to the local area. It's actually where Governor Phillip back in 1700 met the Durug people, and we got out, wanted to really remove that visual reminder to the community to that event.
And this is what it looked like a couple of days later.
We finally got it cleared out on Friday, and here we are a couple of days later, 36 hours later, that bridge was going under. So,
and have you had any insights today into how bad it has been in the Pitt Town area today from people you've been in contact with?
All I know is that floodwater was coming up nearly a metre an hour yesterday afternoon, and that's just continued to rise and is flooding across that floodplain again.
So given you and many of your team are ex-military, what specific skills do you bring to these disaster zones?
Yeah, so Disaster Relief Australia is a veteran-led charity organisation. We bring to the table, I guess, an understanding as to what it means to endure a lot of the trauma that a lot of these communities have in our previous experience. So we just bring, I guess, a grit and determination to endure that event, and the willingness to get in and do the hard, arduous, dirty work that no one else really wants to do.
Thank God you're up to it. Thank God you do it, because I think people just wonder what if you weren't there to help out. I think a lot of people wondered too, how are these people going to go on? You can relate to that feeling of being under fire, having been deployed to war zones. How do you get up and keep going? 4 floods in a year. It's unfathomable, really, isn't it?
The unbearable task that's in front of these communities over and over again is very difficult to appreciate, especially when we live in a community that may not be affected. What a lot of people don't understand is that when the media cycle moves to the news story, these communities are left to continue to pick up and clean up their homes. So DRA come in and assist with that. Those response agencies, SES, emergency services, military and those, they get in for the immediate response. However, we come in and assist that community for the weeks, months, years afterwards.
Well, it must feel like an endless job at the moment. You are, as you said, a volunteer-led organisation. How can the community help you and the job you do?
I guess we are very reliant on public donations to get our teams on the ground. We've got some great corporate sponsors that really assist with that. Mitsubishi donate all of our cars, or the use of all of our cars, and Bunnings provide a significant amount per operation when we require any equipment. But the lion's share of the ability for us to get on the ground is from public donations. Back in February and March, when we deployed to Northern Rivers, it was the public donations that got us there, and we sustained an 8-week operation on the ground there, helping an unknown number of households and families.
Well, I'm sure our audience will be keen to support. We'll make sure those details are on our website. Andy Young, we really appreciate your time and your insights throughout this here this evening. Thanks for being with us.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me on.